Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 91 people a day die from opioids. The victims are mostly white, but the problem is beginning to creep into Black and Latino areas as well. Nationwide, the number of people dying every 3 months equals the number of people killed in the September 11th terror attacks. But in an area in Atlanta's north suburbs called the Triangle, the number of heroin-related deaths has gone up by nearly 4,000% in the last 6 years. In Fulton County alone this year, 154 people have died from drug overdoses. 45% of them started with opioids. The majority of the victims were under 30. Now the county is suing opioid makers, saying the industry is making things worse instead of better.
This industry has instead of take proactive efforts to help address the crisis, their efforts have been centered around prolonging the crisis.
Joining us via Skype from New Orleans, Dr. Corey Hebert, the CEO of Community Health TV and Chief Medical Editor for WDSU, the NBC affiliate there in New Orleans. So, Dr. Hebert, what's interesting here is you're seeing these counties, these other agencies in West Virginia and other places suing these opioid makers. And what's crazy is that you have, if I'm correct, 3 major distributors in America, and we're seeing millions of pills being dumped into cities. That's unbelievable. And I just wonder, how are this many opioids being prescribed?
Yeah, well, it's something that happened gradually, Roland. We had a situation where in the early 2005, 2004, Americans were being told that they were being underprescribed medicine because that we have more pain and the doctors are not treating the pain appropriately. And that was really one of the edicts that doctors kind of got, that you should prescribe more medicine for pain because Americans have a lot more pain than we're treating. And then doctors were very, freewheeling with their pens and wrote opioids for people that, got their teeth pulled or had, minor illnesses and minor orthopedic injuries. And then as that started to take place and people started to get a lot more opioids in their cabinets, then we started seeing the opioid epidemic. And then we started trying to pull back, saying, people are using this for way too many uses as opposed to just, very severe pain. And at that point, it was really kind of way too late. You can't, unfire a cannon. You know what I mean? So what happens is that the pharmaceutical companies, don't get me wrong, just like the tobacco companies, they're not in this to help people. They're in this to make money and satisfy their boards of directors. But they are providing the demand of the pills that the doctors are writing. Let's be very clear about that. The pharmaceutical companies do lobby. Pharmaceutical companies do have sales forces, but the doctors are writing the prescriptions for the people to get the medicine. And I think that's where the problem really lies, as opposed to the pharmaceutical companies.
Do you believe these suits by Fulton County and others will make a difference in terms of getting the attention of the industry and holding them accountable?
Yeah, I think it will get them the attention because, like I said, people are marketing these drugs, and they're not marketing it, on the television like a lot of other medicines do. They're marketing it to the doctors to prescribe. I think that this will be able to pull some of this stuff back, and the doctors are more. We are totally aware of the opioid epidemic. Don't get me wrong, we know. And I think that it will sound an alarm, but I think that what needs to happen is that we need to look at this in a little bit more of a global concept. And the reason why is because, this has been happening for a while, and this has been happening to white America. And if this had started happening to Black America, nobody still would even be talking about this. Let's be honest. This is something that hit the young white community, and now it's like opioid epidemic. Oh my God! But we had a crack epidemic. Nobody did anything except put people in jail at inordinate amounts, just to make sure that we couldn't take care of our family. So I always want to take that with a grain of salt when we start having these conversations. I want people to understand.
All right, Dr. Corey Hebert, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
George, what's up? Your boy Trump was supposed to declare a national state of emergency for the opioid crisis. He still hasn't done it. These are his white folks who are dying. What's up?
Roland, I think he's a little busy right now working on communication skills. Look, No one cared when crack was in black communities and taking our communities down. And we have a lot of knowledge to share on how to solve this crisis, and that's why it's being called a crisis, and it's not being done through the criminal justice system. So what we've got to do is look at this as a crisis. It's going to be solved. There's an opportunity for people who have been through the crack epidemic to share their knowledge and stop this, because it hasn't just turned into a crack epidemic,
George,
it's turned into a HIV epidemic.
But George, I told you, when the president said he was going to declare a state of emergency, it hasn't happened.
He's busy.
So does he care?
Oh, of course he cares. Of course he cares.
No,
but
he doesn't.
No. You have to. A week ago, 60 Minutes did a piece on this opioid crisis that caused him to fire, or not even hire, his drug czar. So now I'm sure they're scrambling to find another drug czar.
No,
Why is that
nothing to do with the opioid crisis. No. He didn't hire the guy because when Republicans also realized that this guy was one of the folks who helped push through that bill,
and I'm glad you said that. And he realized he shouldn't hire him.
He knew he wasn't going to get confirmed. Avis, the bottom line is this here: white folks got played. White folks got played.
Yeah.
All these white folks in West Virginia, white folks in Mississippi and Alabama, they fell for the okie doke. Trump said I was going to focus on opioids. They're like, yay, he's our hero. He's ignored them. Again, hashtag, we tried to tell you.
We tried to tell you. I agree. He's busy. He's busy golfing. Okay, this man cares absolutely nothing about the victims of this crisis. And someone who has followed the drug on war that has actually wreaked havoc on the black community for decades, I do find it ironic how this country all of a sudden finally realizes that drug addiction is a health problem and not a criminal problem,
right.
Which they didn't seem to get that clearly when black people were the primary targets of this problem. And so you're right. Trump said whatever he had to say to his core constituency to get in office. But now the rubber is meeting the road, and they, along with everyone else, is seeing that he really doesn't give a damn about anybody but himself.
Tiffany, quick comment.
Here's what I'm hoping. I hope that everybody's paying attention, because if 45 runs again, which we know he will in 2020, I want all the folks affected by opioids in the South to make sure they don't vote for Donald Trump. Thank you.
Well, first of all, if you have most of the people who are under 30 dying, they might not be enough of them to vote for him.
Yes,
well, he might have done himself a favor.
Just letting you know.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.